Hey everybody, I want to talk about texting with the narcissist and the emotionally unstable type personalities. Texting is a big deal, I think, but the first thing I want to say is that text messages ought to be the least valuable form of communication in your relationship. Why? Because it's the most impersonal. It's the least personal form of relationship, the least personal form of communication. And if you're in a relationship with somebody, that means you're with somebody, they're the person you are with the most. So it makes sense that your preferred method of communication with the human you are with the most should not be the most impersonal form of communication we have. It weakens, damages, and destroys a relationship, and at best, it just doesn't contribute. So I think that the best case scenario with text messages is that it just doesn't help anything. It doesn't add anything. Sometimes they're useful for whenever you have to get, just a brain fart out, like, oh shit, get eggs while you're at the store, But in general, in general, that's what you should, that's the takeaway, is that ought to be your least valued communication method. And there's other reasons for it as well. So texting is insanely slow. We had to, at least I'll show my age, we had to take keyboarding and typing in school. Mavis Beacon was the program that we used in the computer lab. I don't even know that they do computer labs anymore. I think they just have iPads around the class. I don't even know. But we had to take keyboarding, and one of the things that they were talking about was two-finger typing. Hunting and pecking, two-finger typing, that type of thing. And it was basically frowned on back when I was in school. You don't want to be a two-finger typist. You want to be a 10-finger typist. You want to be able to type 60 words a minute. So most people on a keyboard who are keyboard proficient, they can type at 40 to 60 words per minute. We think at about 100 to 120 words per minute. We speak at 100 to 120 words per minute. And we think at around 1200. So, and that's assuming you're not hyperactive in the brain. If you're hyperactive in the brain, you can actually think in more than 1200 words per minute. It's insane. So we've gone back to two-finger typing. It's really, really slow. It is a really, really slow way to communicate. So slow, in fact, that by the time you're done typing a sentence, you've usually had 10 to 12 additional competing thoughts by the time you type a sentence. It takes what would normally be a quick email or a quick, blurb at home, or a 30-second phone call, ends up being a whole 5 to 10 minute adventure on the toilet. It's such a waste of time. And the thing is, over time, it adds up. You'd be surprised at how much free time you gain by putting your phone down and by not using the keyboard on your phone as a means of communication. Well, yeah, what about social media and all that stuff? Fine. I'm just talking about your personal, close relationship with your partner. When it comes to your partner, you should actually strive to text less out of love and respect, right? And that sounds so backwards to so many people, but it makes sense. You are literally, you're cashing out on the least, you're getting the least value out of your relationship by texting, if any value at all. And I want to talk about a couple of support group threads that I saw last night. Ironically, not in any of the abuse groups, but these were more in the ADHD groups. Several of them talking about how to handle the situation of whenever you send an important text to your partner and they don't respond and they leave you hanging, what to do about it. And I thought this was really interesting. So, and this is, you got to take a hard look at yourself if this is a common complaint with you. The concept of being left hanging on a text message. First of all, nobody's leaving you hanging. You are hanging on your own text message. And that is such a critical concept that you need to know and recognize. You hang on your own text messages. It's not somebody else leaving you hanging. You are choosing to hang on texting. And if that's what you're doing, you need to stop, because you are investing way too much importance. You're giving way too much importance to such an impersonal communication method. It's not healthy. Case in point, you're not happy. You're not happy if it's a complaint. You know, call somebody, have get-togethers. You know, the concept of hanging out is dead. You know, 10, 15, 20 years ago. Don't believe me? Watch the movie Friday. Go back and watch Friday. It's a Friday, and there's no smartphones back then. Hell, watch any movie where there's no smartphones. Right? The thing I love about Fridays, what do? They wake up, they go sit outside on the porch, and then people walk by, people drive by, people come around, and they all hang out. You know, we still do that in group chats and on Facebook and all of that stuff. And yeah, sure, that's fine and great, but it should not be a substitute. It really shouldn't. You should have get-togethers. Invite people over. Have fun with people. Get people crashed on your couch once or twice a year. Not very often, but make that a goal. Just say, hey, let's get couch drunk. Let's hang out. Fuck. Yeah, get the kids together, put the kids on a blow-up mattress. That kind of thing. You've got we've forgotten how to hang out in person. We've forgotten to how to be in person. And it's kind of sad. But back to the text messaging. This one that I saw really kind of sort of caught me off guard. And it was a lady, it was a same-sex couple that when she texts her partner during the day, her partner doesn't always respond right away. Sometimes her partner doesn't respond at all. And she's saying things like, I don't text her unless it's something that I can, that I feel is important. But by the end of the day, there'll be like 10 or 12 important texts that I've sent that have gotten no response. And it's a real pain point, because I feel like I'm being ignored, and I don't know, it's something that I've talked about before, and I feel like I'm being a nag, but how do I explain to her how important texting is to me? And my answer is, well, why don't you consider the fact of, why is it that you're sending so many text messages to begin with? Like 12 in a day? Like during the normal work day, that's like one every 45 minutes. And texting is really, really slow. So if you're sending an important text every 45 minutes, you're not even affording your partner the ability to do her job for more than an hour uninterrupted. And, she's probably ignoring you because she cares about her job. What about, do you not consider the impact you're having on her life? I'm sure she's told you more than once that she does her best, but she can't always respond. And the reply that I got was fascinating, because it's something that it was something I used to fall into in a previous relationship. And it was, well, I mean, I understand that, but if they can't respond, if they can't reply, it would at least be nice to just get a confirmatory text like, okay, got it, or hey, can't talk right now, but sure, something like that. I'm like, I mean, if they can't respond, you won't get a response if they cannot respond. It's implied, right? You're expecting them to issue a response to say they can't respond, but they just responded. You're expecting them to respond to say they can't respond. That is goddamn irritating and annoying. You can't do that to people. But, look at yourself. Because, and this is something I'm really big on, people do not control your feelings. You do. You control your feelings. People influence your feelings, and they influence your decision making. But they do not control it. To say that you get really mad, or that it triggers you, and all of this stuff, or that they really they leave you hanging. No, they don't. That's blame shifting. They don't leave you hanging. You hang on every text you send because you're putting way too much value on your text messages. Don't do that. Leave some shit to talk about at the table. Go home, make a meal, or cereal. 2 bowls of cereal, wear yoga pants, put your hair up in ponytails, watch Grey's Anatomy, and talk. If you're sending 12 important text messages a day, what the hell y'all gonna talk about when you get home? Use what I call tactical silence. Tactical silence means, hey, you know what? We're not going to talk for a while, so that when we do see each other, we got shit to talk about. You can't just be constantly spraying people with words. That's something I tell my son. Don't be the type to go around spraying people with words. The more you talk, the more likely you are to say something stupid. And it's like an economics market kind of thing, like supply and demand. The more you talk, the less valuable the shit you're saying becomes. Because you're always talking. You're always talking. Talk. And eventually, that's when people just start ignoring you and tuning you out and not paying attention. Because you're talking all the time becomes of little to no value for people to listen. And pretty soon they're like, man, you know what? I'd love to listen to your story about your potato, but I'm trimming my fingernails right now. I can't multitask like that. But I'm sure it was a good potato. You see what I mean? Like, before you know it, you're just blurting out, you're just talking just to talk. Comedian Chris Porter is like, just talk just to talk. You ever meet somebody who can't handle silence? They just sit there and they look like they're gonna explode, and then they blurt out something like, my grandma loves purple. Like, shut up. You learn to be comfortable in silence. So at the end of the day, put your phone away. Stop texting. Let there be something to talk to your partner about in the evenings. Your relationship will get so much better if you do. And I'm out of time. Please like, comment, or share. I'll see you on the next video.